Okay, so I started streaming, so you can check if it's going.
All right. Hopefully this is coming through on a permanent link. Which is where did I stick that? Yeah,
Okay, so it's working.
it's working.
Okay, let me send you the files here. Green Ridge. So I'm running that scenario right now. So um, if you put that in the directory, it should get you to where you want to be. I'm not running the fire yet, but
Okay.
Good. Where Mike's got these sites, he looked over there. I don't. He's talking about how we got that. Exactly. Sure. Yeah. Just looking at one might not be bad.
All right, I'm emailing both of you guys what should be the permanent link to the YouTube stream. One of two that we're gonna end up using for the trainings. You don't need to access it right now, but so you have it and test it out. Just getting Green Ridge on both of the machines now. I should have everything.
yeah, it's running multiplayer, so
So I can jump in anytime.
should be able to. If you get, we'll just run it the other way.
Okay. All right. Anxious to see if we can get by without errors. Okay, do you care which aircraft I take?
I would just go up in the commander and just do the playback. That way you're in air attack orbit.
Okay.
But no, I don't care. Whatever works for you best. That's just my
Okay.
suggestion.
All right. Let's see. give that a try. All right. All right, so we just need to start the fire on both of these.
Is this similar to lot
Actually, no, this is in Oregon. We haven't messed around with that at all yet.
Okay.
So okay,
it
so you're
is
in there. So hey Ryan, just run your client, and I'll that way I can run what I got over here.
Oh, yeah, I started the host too.
Don't do that.
Got it. All right, connected.
Okay. I'm gonna start this fire at about just about 5 acres, just so we can see it. And I think the big thing is, if we want to use this area, is just get an idea of what's around and where we want to add structures or features. So the main thing we've got is that road that is on the heel side of the fire, and then that Boy Scout camp is quite a ways. You'll see if you, from your perspective, you can probably see it. I'm at low level, but it's way down the hill. So I don't know if we want to add, we could add cabins or something, some sort of resource value if we want over here.
Yeah, this is Green Ridge, right?
Correct.
Okay, good. For a second there, I was thinking it was George with auto-generated.
No, right now this one is, it's open to mold whatever we want to do with it. We can move the fire too if we want.
Okay.
But I mean, this is a really nice, just kind of slow growth mixed timber fire. It's pretty benign, as you'll see. Hey Ryan, the stream link is public, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I also need to minimize the window because I realized I was only showing part of the screen.
So here's the runway.
That should be better. Now you should be seeing my whole screen.
I'm not even looking at YouTube. You know what? My clients are not receiving the fire.
Okay, I can't hear you very well. Can you get closer to the mic?
My clients aren't receiving the fire.
Is it connected? Is your simconnect.cfg? You
No,
probably need to disable that.
Yeah.
That's probably it, right? Let me
I
know.
need to enable it.
Yeah. And then rejoin it. It should just pick you up, and it should start when you join. That'd be a good test of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That worked on one.
Okay. And you should get smoke at the next time step. So I guess we'll see if you do.
Thinking in another direction.
That's how they have it.
is. Okay. Set up.
It just means if you want somebody standing down outside, they can hopefully access it. Yeah, that's it.
Did you got fire, Ryan?
Yes, I
Okay.
got it on both
Okay,
both
good.
machines. I've got one set as an observer,
Okay.
and then the other one's the 146. The 146 is not in, so I've just got it. I've got it in slew mode right now. But
Okay.
yeah, so we've got, and the smoke is moving right. Everything's visible.
Good.
Okay.
The stream quality looks really good on mobile. I'm not obviously not watching it on the computer, but I was just looking at my phone and
Yeah.
it seems yeah, the video quality looks great. So especially if you're watching on a tablet, I think it's going to be pretty good. I don't know how it looks at higher bigger screen resolution, but
The phone just does some weird things sometimes. It won't. It won't let the keyboard go away. I don't understand.
did you know that an iPad keyboard costs $350?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
I
So
was shocked. I thought that was the actual iPad.
yeah. It should be. You guys ready to check stuff out? So we're running the fire we put in timber right now. It's in Oregon. Not too big of a deal. We're just so you can get oriented to things right now.
This is going to be really testing what we're looking at for the site. At least one of them.
I was hoping it'd be close there. It's good. Terrain is pretty. It's rolling for sure, but it's not real rugged
So what
terrain.
are we going to do here? What are we
Well, this will, yeah. So we got aircraft plugged in. The big screen has an aircraft that's flyable right now. That one is the IC's perspective. If you want to have that, and then Trevor, you'll see there's another aircraft just orbiting. There's another spot that neither of us are in right now with AirTech pre-planned orbit. And what we were talking about was first objective for the students is just checking in, right? Yeah, and in the airspace, and that is
So mine. Joel's got a whole different. He's going to.
right. Yeah, we've been focusing on what you got us over the sand table. So that's kind of what I was hoping to go over. Just for that one, we got the one in the fire and grass, pretty much the same setup. So each of the aircraft are available. So we just set it up in there as we want. And really, I think for us, the keys are what should the fire look like, where you want the scenario started, which aircraft, assuming it's just the tanker and air attack.
No air attack.
No air attack for that?
No air attack.
So making calls in blind on the first one?
No air attack. And then the second one's,
Okay.
it'll be calling the blind.
Okay.
Calling the blind.
Okay.
So, and it's gonna be 12 miles. So somehow we have to, that's where we're gonna start. That's where when we roll into setting up the airspace, then we're
Yep, we've got the 12-mile mark identified. That's where we can start the. Yeah. Get in the cockpit. There we go.
You know that HS, the view you have,
The one just outside the cockpit.
the drone view?
Oh, right.
You know,
Yeah.
are we gonna see that on this? Because that to me was, the view, whether they have a cockpit for this, it doesn't matter.
They just need to know which
Yeah.
direction.
It doesn't matter. Fine, well, may be different, but why?
Ryan,
I
if
don't
you're
need a cockpit.
Ryan, any of the commander or the RJ should have the HUD view. I realized something that with the camera you'll have to do something different. I'll fix it later, but it's going to try to show you the cockpit structure, so you just have to change the camera view a little bit.
All right, and that is.
So
Which one?
are you in the RJ?
Yeah.
Okay, so go to vehicle instrument panel, and then if you want to follow along the stream, I can show you. Vehicle instrument panel, and then it's a heads-up display at the bottom.
Oh, right.
But what'll happen is if you
There we go.
if you turn that on, if you're looking straight ahead, you'll have no cockpit structure. But as soon as if you want to look to the left, like you're in an orbit, it's going to try to show you the side windows. But you could fix that. But if you're just flying, if you're doing the check-in and just flying, out the front window, then you should be fine. You should be able to just have
Okay.
the HUD by itself and no other cockpit.
So it's so I turned it on, and when I'm in the cockpit, leaving the display panel.
Right click, right click and just click
Got it.
close. Got it? Okay. Yeah, I'll get all that stuff. I'll get all that stuff defaulted for you, so you don't have to do anything.
Okay. So the only thing we don't have at the moment is the distance to your distance and bearing to your target.
Yeah, and I can get that. I'm gonna have to do a little workaround for that because it's a long story. But yeah, I can set it up as a GPS waypoint and then get a distance. We can also, if we want to use ForeFlight, but then that's gonna be, it's gonna have to involve another screen. So that's up to you guys. If it's easier to just have a distance and a bearing, I can get that sorted out.
So for the second week, definitely want to have ForeFlight talking to this stuff.
Correct.
We'll work that. For this, when people are looking at the screen, having ForeFlight would mean, basically inset here, and if we have that, then there's a good chance that the resolution isn't going to be good enough to be able to read, really read the map.
Okay.
So this would just be, text the same size as this, giving the distance and bearing in numbers.
Got it.
So you don't have
Got
to
it.
worry so much about whether you can or can't read it. Okay. And
So for the first day with wildlife indicators.
yeah.
So with wildlife indicators, I think we have the three videos that you inputted into the PowerPoint, and those videos are okay. If there are better videos that have better graphics since that point that you did that, I'll take those.
Yeah.
And I'll take any of these. It doesn't matter because we're looking at fire indicators, right? Why I'm doing that, we could start off like on a conversation with this. Is okay. What are you guys seeing here? Say you fly. That looks to be about 5 miles an hour. So you say 30 miles an hour. So what do it look like? There you go. That's perfect. So we're going to start with that. What do you see there as you get closer? What are you thinking about? looking at not only the volume of the column, but the column of color, color of the column, and then is it leaning, is it building, hitting what we call a mixing height? It is. It's not really, it's not starting to really, right? And so this is just going to be like building a flying fire. Then I'll go, okay, does anybody see any spots? Not yet. Get a little closer, maybe you throw a spot in, which you can do, right? And that's going to be about it. And I'm going to go on to the next PowerPoint slide. Something else, next video comes up, and maybe we have slope position. Is it ridge top? Is it mid slope? Is it down bottom? Huge. It's going to be a big one. So we go to a couple other, and then you can do this. I mean, I guess you could have it pre-planned, ready to go, and record it, pre-record it. I'm okay with doing this as we're building a video by us. I'm giving you cues as I'm teaching, and we do it on the fly. And here's the other thing. Say I get a question from somebody. Hopefully you are. Hopefully you get a question. Well, what about this? That you have something to go to that, putting that question in this case.
Yeah. That's a good one. I think we're going to have to do as many recordings as we can.
And pick from?
Yeah, and while we're doing those recordings, we'll be building that experience with changing the scenario, changing the way we're doing things. So we should be just getting more proficient, so we can move back and forth. Because I could see, there could be questions that would be just as simple as moving to the other, spot on the fire. And then there could be questions about, well, what does it look like if the wind is calm? And so different ways to get there.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
One thing just to bring up about videos is, we could crank out a bunch of videos. We just haven't had a good, really objective yet of what to show. So if we get like just some basic, like, hey, I want a video of this phenomenon or this in this location, this terrain, like we can just crank out a bunch of videos. We just haven't had, haven't had a good inspiration for what we want to show yet. So if you guys can give us some suggestions, we can throw some together in the next couple of days.
Okay. And Trevor, what I did a little videos for Neptune, so I'm gonna go back and put those videos. I could actually even leave, because we're just gonna switch from. Well, I don't know how you want to do this on the Zoom the day up. I'm teaching this. We start off wildland fire indicators. The objectives before takeoff, there's some things we're going to be talking about, time and distance. So that's one of the first things we're going to be looking at is time and distance relative to what you're looking at it with, right? So the people that you're looking at the column, there's some buildings a long ways away, and that's what we're talking about. 1 minute versus 1 hour, 5 miles versus 50. So this is where this is going to come in. I took out where we have video. There would be a video with that, right? And then there would be a video, see the slope position. So distance and time would be a video. Slope position would be another video. Trevor, let me just send you this real quick.
Yeah, and I was also going to say, if you have some videos that already show kind of the objectives you want, but there's like something slightly different, actual videos, if you give us those, we can just recreate those and then change whatever you want changed. So yeah, just send us what you can think of, and we'll come up with some stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I think the slope position is probably the one thing we haven't captured in any of the recordings that we've done so far. The only fire that we haven't been playing around too. Fires that are on a significant slope, which is a good thing to look at.
We
Seems
definitely
like
can. We just don't have a scenario. I mean, we can throw one together, right away if we want one. If we want an uphill run, we can do that.
well, it seems like that Day Creek Canyon,
Yeah, that one's a good
that,
one.
that definitely gets that influence.
Yeah, and that's pretty complex terrain too, because you've got a bunch of drainages and draws there, and so you get a bunch of you get a bunch of fingering, you get islands. So that might be a good one.
Yeah, that one. Well, we can do anything we want. Um, that so the Day Creek, it's right by the Cajon Pass, so it has influences, you know, Santa Ana type influences, but those can do lots of different things to it. I think that one is probably one that'll be a lot of. It'll be good to play around with that one and see how it looks when the smoke column is being blown away from the slope. It's being blown into it, that sort of thing.
This thing, internet's slow right here. Second, Trevor. And then, yeah, I do have some videos. I'll send you a couple. I'll send you what, kind of close. Doesn't have to be exact or right on. But I think as you guys manipulate that video as I'm instructing, we can do it, right? We just leave. So I'm thinking I just send you the PowerPoint. We don't even need to have a slide here that has videos. You just change it to this, right? Yeah. Share screen from me, or that is that can be. We're going to be together anyway. Yeah. So we just leave the PowerPoint and go to and I can have this running on another computer anyway. So
Changing to this is the one timber, and it's got as you get closer to the ground, you can see the trees start to. No, you can't on this one. That's right, because I've got auto gen turned off. We'll take a look at this one here. So right, it's still, this one is very much a 3D, kind of view with the trees clearly visible for a pretty decent height. That one, I think, because it's it's still the base imagery is pretty varied as you get higher up. It still does have. It looks like there are trees. Even when you get to the ground level, there aren't really too many trees. If you want to show trees in this where we can move around the fire at will, and then you want to get over to grass, that process. Hey Trevor, let's go ahead. Let's just from here move to Jordan and start Jordan, as if we wanted to get into live with another completely different fire.
Okay.
A minute. So he's closed multiplayer. I should be able to just leave. The client running, right? It'll pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you'll ever on your end will ever have to disconnect anything.
I just need to reconnect to multiplayer.
Yeah, so I started up the Jordan session, and I'm in the RJ just orbiting again, like I was.
All right. So I got a error about the. I guess my Jordan on the laptop different.
Well, let me. Do you want to go to Jordan, right? Let me just open it up to.
Yeah.
Okay.
did. I guess I didn't.
So, I mean, I think for the training that we just need to use the one-click scenario launch, and that way we're not doing this.
Yeah.
That way, you know, because if you do it this way, you got to reposition and all that. So, I think if we just do those one-click scenario launchers, we won't have to worry about that. So you should be able to join. It's just an open scenario. So,
Yep. Yeah, I'm in.
and if you see where I am, just follow me.
Okay. It looks like. All right. So we launched and there we go. Do you want to try and move on over to him?
You see where I am?
Yeah, Joel's got you front and center.
Okay.
Trying to get the, am I
So-
on plane or am I?
You
So
should be able to just push it forward and it'll move. Yeah.
I mean, this one should be good because you know, we started away from the fire, so we'll have to look for the smoke, which is good. I mean, that'll be a good one for this one. Is we can kind of wander around and, you know, look for the smoke and see from what, you know, kind of show what distance you start to see the column.
I'm going to drop you down closer to the terrain. This view sends you all over the place. Pause, just hold back and then just rotate, tilt the, twist the thing and slowly lift the steam. Triggers. ID tag. There.
But every time I go towards it, there's
He's, yeah. So you can see we'll need to get this process. You know, switching scenarios now down if we do want to
Well,
jump in.
yeah, I think it's just a matter of just using those one-click runners, and then, you know, we'll start from, if we want to start at a distance, we can start at a distance, or we can start on orbit. So this just because we switch here at the last second. But once we have a plan for these are the scenarios we're going to go, boom, 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 we can just set it up so that there's no transition like this.
Yeah.
So I'm at the fire.
We are 7, 6, 5. So you're 10 miles away, so should be able to push forward pretty hard. And
Hey, how far behind is the YouTube stream typically?
you know, it will change.
Okay. No, I was watching it on my phone and it got behind, and I think maybe I rewound and that's why. So that's the only thing with the YouTube streams is it does give you the ability. It's like TiVo, so you can go back. So if people do that, they may get out of sync. So we just want to make sure that people know. And I don't know if we can disable that on our end so you can't rewind. But I just noticed that on my phone.
oh, there you go. Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, this is where,
And we're not.
oh, the fire.
So
I
the
just
client is showing the fire updating. I'm not seeing any smoke yet.
Where are you?
I
Are
have it.
you where I am, or are you somewhere else?
Oh, there it is. Okay,
I
so I
don't
got
I
it.
don't see you anywhere.
Yeah, we both have
I just
Okay.
can't get to it.
it. Yeah.
So I think that's, for this training, that I think having, I'm set up where I can fly, without air, because I have better equipment. So I think you want to utilize those recorded playbacks, so you're not worried about, moving around and finding stuff. And then when we do want the ability to fly around, for a demonstration, I can just fly with the yoke. I'm set up to do that.
Well, and the other thing is, this for week one. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Joel. You, especially for fire indicators for this, you don't need to freely switch between, say, the tanker view, ATGS view, and IC view, right?
So the view.
Yeah, if you don't need to do that, then literally the one role player who can move around like this can be Trevor. He's got all the tools to do that well, and then
It's
everything
mostly,
else
yeah, I mean, it's mostly natural ability, I think.
Yeah. I agree. That's
well, either way, I guess we get to the visual that that gives you that gives you the information you need to
Right.
teach to.
right.
So that was, I mean, that was a long process, long learning process going from the timber fire to the grass fire that we have. If we focus on, say, one of the scenarios being the scenario live, and waiting, so that anytime we switch to it, we're switching to, and then the rest of the content is off recorded videos, let's say for different fuel types, or for different views. Then
Yeah. And so, exact. So Trevor, I don't know if you got that point up, that I sent you, but like I was telling Ryan, there's about three, simulation videos that I think would be good to have.
Okay.
And one is on slide number 6, like right after 6, that we would put that 1 minute versus 1 hour. And there's 2 pictures on what that kind of looks like from an air attack point of view. But the other one is after we leave that video, I mean that slide, and we would show your video. Then slope position, huge
Sure.
slope position is huge. And so we would, after we talked about slope and then alignment with fuel, slope, wind, slope, and fuel, and then have another one. But I'll send you that out today. Let me think here for a second. When we look at ground versus air, it would be nice to show a video. I'll add that video from what like a hot truck crew is looking at on the ground. And I will send a video. Probably be good to have a video of the same file, looking at the ground versus looking at the air.
Yeah.
But this, in slide 8, it's just the idea of what, our ground resources, looking at wildland fire indicators the same as aerial resources, and the answer is yes. Looking at a lot of the same things. It's just in a different view. And they're looking more, their SA is built on 50 feet at a time, where in an aircraft, as you can see, and this would be something I'd point out when you're flying one of these fires, is that you have a much better view, but you don't have a lot of the indicators they have. You can't feel humidity, you can't feel wind in your face. And so we both have both of those reasons disadvantages of being in an aircraft is being a pressurized aluminum tube. And so you only have really 2 of the 5 senses, which is you can see and you can hear. A closer look on slide number 9 is just basic. The main thing for this is, 99% of everybody on the ground, and I don't know if tanker pilots know this is why I put this in, is like that. Their heads are down. They're not looking up. They're working. And so there's very few, when you're talking move, if you are talking to somebody on the fire line, even if they're not working, if this guy was to put his head up, what would he see? It's limited. And so, and then we get to, we get to the last, close to the last slide number factor, and that would maybe that first video, and you just play that again, and maybe the fire is bigger now, and some other factors we can talk about that we've already talked about, but then there's other, there's some of these we've talked about: smoke column, time of day, slope position, obviously huge, topography, and then we can start talking about these other things that are listed on that slide 10. I think with 3 videos in those spots between distance, between slope position, and I will add some videos of showing a ground view versus an aerial view on the same fire, and then having that same video back at slide 10 before the closing video, which is basically, or closing slide, which is basically just that on slide 11, is going to be, it's going to be hard to do this.
Yeah, I think one of the variables that is just not going to be achievable if we were to do it, it would have been, well, yeah, I'm getting too deep into the explanation, but if we were going to show an example in fuel times that has that, it's just going to balloon the look at the stuff.
I'll tell you, the distance video can be that timber you just did. The slope position can be in grass. It's fine. It can be at light fuels if you want to pick another fuel model. Basically, slope position is just going to tell you where you're going to be working. It's going to tell you, are you going to be, so easier for firefighters and aviation, right? We love ridge tops. That's the easy one. As you get down to those drainage, bottoms, it becomes very high resistance to control for firefighters. Escape route, safety zones. Same thing for aircraft. They have to somehow get down to get the product on the ground. They too need escape routes and safety zones, right? They're looking for excellence.
Yeah, so like Joel, I mean, if you look around, like in this area where we are, I don't know where Ryan is, but on the YouTube screen, I'm just orbiting around this fire. I mean, so this is grass, but I mean, there's pretty good terrain around here. Where this specific fire is, it's pretty much on the flat, but there's all kinds of great terrain with drainages and stuff around here. If there's like something specific that we want to go for that, we can throw a fire, mid slope or at the bottom of the slope and watch it run up, and we can run it in accelerated rate of time if we want. So whether that's live or through video, I think it's always a good idea to have as many videos as we can, and I think the main reason is, if something goes haywire, and who knows, I mean, I think we've been testing this a ton, and I mean it works. We're not having any major issues, but you never know. So I think having backups for all of the stuff that you want to illustrate, having backup just videos that we can just play, I think is really good. And whether you want to use those as the official training or just have them as backups, I think Ryan and I need to make those videos that we have kind of the also the in case of emergency break glass sort of thing. So
Sure.
So if there's something on this, in this terrain, or whether it's in the one out in Rancho Cucamonga down there up in the foothills, I mean, any of those fire behavior concepts, I mean, we can, it won't be 100% perfect, but it is a modeled fire, so we should get, the change in rate of spread, changes in flame length, change in smoke color, all that stuff is going to come through. So it's more or less just what you want. If we have a target, we can shoot for that and kind of get you what you want.
Yeah. So if you stayed on the same spot, Can you see where the where you're looking at right now? Up
Yeah,
that
let
drainage?
me get the cockpit out of the way. I don't know if you're looking at my screen, but
We're not. I'm going to
Okay.
send you a screenshot of our view right now. And it's just looking south
okay.
from the origin.
Yeah, I mean, there's
A lot more.
really good terrain south of there.
Exactly. So if you were to drop basically, I would talk about that. Yep, I would talk about that fire is going to be a fire. You know, either way it goes off that ridge, it's going to be a backing fire. And to drop a retardant line there is going to be much easier. And now you drop a fire mid-slope between that point and the road, right? So now you put something mid-slope. So now it's a lightning strike mid-slope. Maybe upper third of the slope, but mid-slope down there. What does that do to you in terms of dropping retardant? Well, now you're going to go one way. You're going to go down that canyon, and you're going to be sidestepping that retardant. And then you stop that one, and you just drop a piece of fire right off that, right? So now that road, that has fuel alignment, slope alignment, depending on what the wind is going to do. So what's that going to do to you now? You're probably not going to go down there and drop the retardant. You might come down and parallel that road and try to get some across the head. You're not going to be able to put a flanking drop on it. There's just no exit. So what it does to you is you're probably eventually, it's going to tell you where you're going to, slope position's huge. What's going to happen here, what I would talk about, is you're probably going to be retardant on your third or fourth load right back where you were going to drop when it was on the ridge top, because that's where the fire is going. So it changes the objective, it changes the tactic and the strategy for the tactic. Basically that fire in the bottom of the bottom, drainage bottom, and this is where time of day comes in, right? So now, say this happens at, say this fire is happening at 1740. What's the difference between this fire happening versus 0830? You know, you can only fly so much, and you can only fly to at certain points time of day. So, you know, just having that, we're going to talk for 20 minutes,
Right.
literally, one video, dropping 3 different points of fire at 3 different places, which would be, I think, a great way to do it, enhancing that power plant. Same thing with the distance one. Distance one's easy. You can pick whatever fire you in any of your recordings right now, and all you got to do is back me up 50 miles and then put me at 5 miles. That's it. And we're just going to talk about that. What's the difference in, you know, how much time for pairing, how much time for getting frequencies, for calling IC, for other aircraft on scene, all those other things. Time and distance is a huge thing. 1 minute versus 1 hour, 5 miles versus 50 miles.
All right, so actually the 1 minute versus 1 hour, that seems like one that'd be the scenario to have ready to go live.
Yeah.
So you could go, you know, try to be at 50 miles when you start talking about it, 20 miles, whatever. And then in that slew, you know, zoom right on in. Fire hasn't changed, your perspective just has. So
Yep.
that idea, okay, you got 100 miles to go out of the tanker. On this fire, what do you think the fire is going to be like before you get eyes on it? Well, actually, this is what it looks like.
And so getting back to the sand table, it would be really clunky and clumsy, right? I would be showing videos instead. That's all I'd be doing. But now that I can do it with Sim, and I can control that now, or you can control that for me now, and we can talk, or a question comes up. You know, you guys are going to be listening in, right? So this question comes up, and we're going to be sitting together. Man, it's going to be cool. We can just customize the answer to that question based on the video that we're playing, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to go, okay, well, and we can, well, what about on the back side of this thing? The air attack may not, if there's an air attack, so in the IC, definitely, remote, may not be able to see the other thing. You may have a limited visibility, because it's slow.
Yeah.
a lot in play with just simple view sheds going on. It pretty much satisfies the requirement for what to do. And we're not even getting into how to put the map on the map. We're just talking about indicators, simply indicators. They're probably going to want to, and they see you guys starting to drop fire on the ground. They're gonna start talking. I guarantee that.
Okay.
So that takes care of me, my day one.
Good. So 3 different starts, different aspects. Same
Top, mid,
location.
bottom.
Use probably a maybe a 10 to 15 second video clip for each one, just to show how things are developing. I will say video clip with on the ridge, mid slope, the bottom of the canyon. How about with that kind of orbiting view, short?
Yeah.
So you get a little look at every side of it.
Yep. Okay. Because we're going to talk about what that's going to for spread. Top's going to be a circle. All things considered equal, fuel and wind. That top one's going to be pretty much a circle. That mid-slope one's going to be a cigar. The bottom one could be depending on the wind out there and land up there, back there in the process slope either way. So 2 heads, 3 heads. Yeah, and make them play. It's interesting when you start, whatever, and then you start dropping heats and you get down there, but it's like really. It'll probably kind of mimic what because that's just what I believe happens, right? And if it does something bizarre, it throws a couple spots out there, so be it. We'll talk about it. So.
Okay. So I've really liked for that 1 minute versus 1 hour, 5 miles with 50. I've liked the Silverado scenario that we've been doing, and that's what those videos did that we had in the presentation. Those were from Silverado, and we didn't have, there wasn't much difference in distance. I did fire when it was still only 5 acres. Fire, yeah, I think I had the very first clip was when it was still small, and then the next 2 clips were maybe 15 acres, but one was on one side of the fire where the column was getting pushed away from you. You didn't see it bent over. The second video, 90 degrees, so you could see the column bent over. If that one is the one that we have playing live for the distance, it could be, we could be starting from 5.
Yeah.
And that's 50 miles away. You got you're not seeing anything, and then we can.
Smoke, top smoke first, and then the other thing that can be reason that we have something else. The other indicator, big cool video to be would be multiple fire. You're going to one of these. That'd be the other. That happens a lot. It's been happening a lot for years, right? When you get an IA, well, you get a 106 A fire, and that A fire is surrounded by more fires. So a lightning bus, you and I just did this one, and you, right? We're finding something, and it was cool. They actually told us to go.
Right. Yeah.
Up there. The tankers have the same. Like, when do these fucking things normally go? So it could be a lot long, but line could just take 2 of them, one to the third one, right? So I mean, that could be something to have as an audible at the end, if you wanted to have. Man, if you just had, like,
Yeah.
4 cameras up there,
Yeah.
that would be another thing we could talk about. But I'm going to leave out in this PowerPoint, I'm going to leave out videos, your videos, then you're gonna have a stream, it's just gonna flow to where we just leave the PowerPoint for let TV. I
Yeah.
think that's a better thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know I think so. We're all going to be in the same room, right?
Yeah.
So the good thing is, you know, you can kind of give us some signals too about where you're going to transition to. We can, if we've got like a whiteboard in there, you know, while you're talking, if you want to write something down and give us a cue, so we get a. I think we should, to the extent possible, script out like the scenarios and the configurations, obviously. But you know, once we're in it, I mean, we can, if we're going to be in the same room, we can kind of shift things around pretty quickly.
Fake it till you make it. I have a projector. Find it. I got a projector down here that we can put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And then you're gonna bring monitors.
Mhm.
You need me to bring like a TV? You want something bigger?
Probably. I don't think we'll need that. If we have one of our monitors. I've got a projector as well. We can have two projectors going, which I don't know. Projectors are pretty nice because you can blow them up as big as you want.
Val's gonna go pay for the conference room today, I think, and I'm gonna have her take a couple pictures of it inside. So I'll get that here pretty quick.
Okay.
For the setup.
Yeah. So the multiple fires going in the same spot. Trevor's working on getting the.
Yeah, I just need to know what fires you want and where. So.
Right. So I pulled up the Google Earth thing that I did with the pins, and we're just looking at SoCal right now.
Okay.
And I was thinking what we have, and we can do more, but what we have right now, we know, is good. Is we got San Bernardino here, we got Fox here, and Aliso Canyon. You know, what we've been playing around with quite a bit is there. Sequoia is the one that we added just recently. Day Creek is the one we spent the most time looking at, and one you guys haven't seen all that much, but it's pretty. It's been around. We've been using it for a long time. It's Colby, right? So that idea, say you get launched from Fox, maybe you got orders to Sequoia, and you see, on the right-hand side, you see the column from Aliso building. That's an option. I don't think. Hey, Trevor, are you gung ho to do more than two fires at the same time?
I mean,
for that
it's up to you guys. I mean, we could. Yeah, I mean, the only limitation is, they're gonna have to be relatively small, just from the graphic standpoint. So, if they're all, less than 50 acres, it shouldn't be a problem. Which for IA, for.
Yeah.
So
Really,
if you're talking, 5-10 acre fires, we can do. I mean, we do as many as you want.
Right. I think Joel going big picture and what the future may hold right now. I think two for graphics for video or live play that we do. Two is going to get the point across.
All right.
I'll have him confirm, but I mean, we've spent enough time getting these Southern California fires pretty well perfected that I would like to have them, so that we're using these.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sequoia and Day Creek are actually really close to each other, so maybe those are too close. They're only, as the crow flies, those are probably 10 miles apart.
Yeah, it's
over the mountains, but.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think there's benefit to having that over the mountain and not over the mountain. So what I just described, like to get the launch from Fox to go to Sequoia, Aliso is going to be should be pretty obvious.
Okay.
I think as you're moving along there.
So you would want maybe the Sequoia fire to be a little farther along, and then Aliso to be kind of a relatively new start that kind of starts basically right before departure, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. The other pair that would make a hell of a lot of sense is launching from San Bernardino to Colby, and then Day Creek is right in front of your face as you cruise across there. That's, I don't know, I guess, you know, some will depend on what distance from what distance the smoke column is visible.
You should get at least 25 miles.
So both of them would be completely achievable from, yeah, either of those. Okay. I mean, they're all of them in the Angeles there, pretty tightly clustered, which is nice. Even Aliso to Date Creek is 35 miles. Okay. Is this getting us about where we need to be?
Hey Ryan, I don't know if anyone else is talking. I'm only hearing you, so I don't know if I'm just not picking up the rest of the conversation. But
Joel's in the bathroom.
oh, okay.
So it's just you and me at the moment.
Oh, okay. So then you're asking me. Yeah. So I guess a couple of comments. So I did look through Joel's PowerPoint, and I think Joel's stuff is. So I do want to add that other fire. If you could look at the stream right now, I'll show your picture that you sent me. So I couldn't, because he was pointing out to you, but I wasn't sure exactly that fire that he talked about on the hillside. Which was it at the road junction? Was it on the hill at the junction or a different part?
Let me.
Hopefully, I'm still streaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. Your right hand is just above the knob that he was suggesting for the ridge top.
Okay, and where did he want the origin, and then where did he want it to be going?
We didn't talk about where it wins, so throw into a circle. That's essentially what he was thinking. That
somewhere in here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you okay, so I think he's thinking this is going to be just literally a point origin. So you got the right. I mean that circle would cover all three starts that he was talking about. The top of the circle, right where where your little pigtail comes off it.
Uh-huh.
That'd be the origin for the ridge top start.
And then what did he want spread direction for that?
Wherever it wants to go.
Well, I mean, it just depends on. So wind wise, what do you want for winds?
Down canyon winds would be great. Yep.
So okay, so coming down this canyon towards us, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
Because that's really going to screw up their exit.
Okay.
Good.
And then what about the second origin? This is a very professional drawing I'm making, by the way.
You are. You have some skill.
It's about as good as my piloting skills.
So that was the mid-slope point. It would.
So
be
you
off
just,
the road.
I couldn't. You kind of broke up. So you said mid slope.
The one you just did was mid-slope.
Okay. Yeah.
On the knob.
Oh, that one's on the knob. Okay.
Yeah.
Then
So
you have a mid-slope.
okay. So you want one directly on top of the ridge, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right on top.
And then you want another one mid slope, so a little ways down.
Yeah, halfway between that one and
So like here somewhere?
I gotta maximize the video here.
oh wait, I can
The green,
come down a little further. Yeah, that'd be fine.
okay, where the green is? Okay.
Yep.
And same winds or different?
Yeah, you know what? You could keep the same winds. That what it does.
And then what did you want for the third? Do you want it towards the road?
As long as it's come all the way down to the road.
Okay. And did you want upslope winds on that or still the same down canyon?
Upslope winds would be good.
Okay.
Because it's going to be a little bit more. Yeah, it's going to be slope there. So.
Yeah. I mean, so
Yep.
that will end up looking like the red, the red line. So, okay. And then in terms of, I mean, we can, we can certainly change the time scale. So even if it's rapid rate of spread, we can make it slow, but what do you want? What are you thinking for, I mean, so the rate of spread will be dictated by the wind. So I'm just thinking in terms of wind speeds, what our target is for maybe sort of like growth time. Like I know it's kind of hard to guess from this picture, but like the one at the top of the slope will kind of take a long time, but obviously the one at the bottom of the slope, I can make it go up the slope in 2 minutes or, an hour.
It's the whole idea. Yeah, it's going to be resistance to control.
Okay.
So, yeah, if the one on top is kind of a little bit mundane, because it's just holding in one spot, and it's going to be hard to push, right? Because that thing's got to go downhill.
Yep. Which is good
Versus
to
the
show.
Exactly. Versus the mid slope. So, in terms of lag time, it'd be nice to have about 10, maybe 15 seconds of me talking before that thing goes full tilt boogie.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll do is I'll run it and I'll take some videos and send it to you, and you can kind of, like I said, we can slow down. We can also pause it too. So, and when I say pause, if you, this fire's still running, right? Yeah.
Pause is good.
When I say pause, I'm gonna pause this fire right now, and so
We're still looking at your scenario.
there's a little bit of a lag on YouTube. So which probably the remedy for that is to have us all watch the actual YouTube stream versus watch one of our live screens when we're talking. Let me take that note. But anyway, yeah, Joel, so this fire right now is paused. So you'll see it's still animated. There's still flames, there's still smoke. It's just the forward rate of spread is just stopped. So it's just holding the perimeter. So you could talk for 3 hours and it would just stay there.
Correct. And we can use, this is maybe like ASM, or write a note down on a sticky pad. Yeah. Because the thing about it, everybody that's viewing it, people just can't see the point. So.
Okay, so I will get those fires going. And for so those, I guess we have the option to do them live, or we can pause and do that sort of thing, or we have the option to do video, or we can do both. So if probably the first thing I'll do is make a video just so you can see them. What would you want the vantage point to be for that video? Do you want it just a static view, kind of like what this is here, but maybe a little, the fire a little more in the center of the frame? Or do you want an orbit?
Yeah,
or...
maybe a little bit further out.
Okay.
Yep. And then maybe looking down at it as flying a little closer, looking down at it.
Okay, so more of an overhead view.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go back to that slide in the picture, it kind of shows a pretty close-up view. For slow position, yeah, I mean, pretty much what you have right now, pretty much what they're, what you're saying. I'm guessing that's looking like a 5 to 7 mile.
Yeah.
That, that 5 mile view, hard to find an aircraft at 5 miles. it's almost like when you open a door to let somebody in your house, that's like the 5 mile view. 5 miles is a really popular place for me. That's where I put IPs, like initial points for air tankers to come to. I like them 5 miles because they can see it. It's a great view shed for them, and they can see what I'm doing as well.
All right, yeah. And so I need to just go. I'll go look through your PowerPoint when we're done. And
Okay.
yeah, I think if we
And
have the option to do videos, we'll make videos, and then we'll have the option to do all of them live. That gives you the flexibility.
Hey, and I think, I think doing a lot of this, some audibles go based on questions, because man, those questions can lead to other questions, and we can find ourselves like over in Australia. So, I think a lot of this, having the ability to just go, kind of unscripted. Obviously we're gonna have a framework, we're gonna have objectives, and we're gonna, eventually someone's gonna have to steer it back to where, because we got to end, for the next guy to get on. But while we're in this for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm all about calling audibles, man. Somebody comes at you with a question, that offensive line isn't seeing it, but the quarterback is. I'm all about this kind of stuff, and I think it's going to really enhance it. I think that's one of the benefits of doing this Zoom, is that you have the ability to really do a lot on the fly. Before you go into a classroom, you got a 2-hour PowerPoint. You're kind of, unless you have stuff ready, pre-built, ready to change screens, so that's my take on it.
And we're trying to minimize the awkwardness for you guys of it, because it is going to be, it's a new way of content delivery. It's probably a little uncomfortable for you guys because you're not really 100% in control of what is happening. So we're trying to, figure out, because I think this is I think this could be a really good, method of content delivery. So I think this would be a good chance for us to refine it, but I also don't want to, be testing it at the expense of the students in the class. So that's why, Ryan and I are just trying to square away as much as we can, script and flow wise, so that there's no awkwardness or downtime, which, those things happen in training, especially in Zoom based training, but we really want to minimize that. If you're watching my stream, I turned off the smoke, by the way, just so you can look at the perimeter by itself. Sorry to interrupt, though. Continue.
No, that's cool to be able to see that. Like, that's perfect world, right?
Yeah. So
That never happened.
Yeah. So the perimeter is a little bit too. I can make it noisier. That's a really nice, obviously nice elliptical shape, which is. All those F-band models, they're all based on mathematical ellipses. So we've just got to take it and mess it up. So I can do that, get it a little noisier. But anyway, just so
Tuparellos are Cuban.
So we can switch between smoke on and smoke off, and we can also change the progression speed as well. So.
No, that's good. You could, on tactics and strategy alone, target description, you could use different subjects really. You got target description, you got drawdown with resources, time of day, and there's a lot of things you can do. That's a cool thing about this versus sand. If you're looking at actual fire, instead of a fucking piece of yarn. So a piece of yarn, you gotta keep, you gotta get really creative. And it's easy if you're not good at that, man. Those guys, they're just like, okay, they're looking at their phones. You can lose people in sand quickly. This is gonna be a lot easier to keep an attention. The people are going to be stuck on the screen right there.
Okay, Joel. So
everybody wants to watch.
So yeah, so Joel, I've got a bunch of stuff to work on for your presentation, which is good. And this stuff is going to be, immensely helpful to us. We've been kind of looking for, some more realistic stuff to start putting together. So that's good. So I guess
Okay.
for Joel, so yeah, I'll look through your PowerPoint and we'll come up with some. I think the easiest way right now will just be to send you some videos in the next couple of days, and you can look at it and say, yeah, this looks like what we're thinking of or not. Um, and anything that we send
Okay.
you, anything that we send you as a video, we'll also be able to do live. So just keep that in mind when you see those
Okay.
videos.
Right.
And then for Tony, I know we spent a lot of time the other day just talking, but I want to make sure that we can tailor the flow as much as possible to the individual speakers. So Tony and Joel, you guys probably have a little different style or obviously different teaching objectives. So I just want to make it as easy as possible for both of you guys to adjust to what we're showing, or vice versa.
Yeah, Tony had to go grab some sleep, so he may be able to
Okay.
get back on a little bit later. But Ryan's here for the week. Tony's here for the week. I'm here for the week. I think we just chop these out one subject at a time and get them done. Gus is busy right now with there's a funeral that he's dealing with. But for what Gus is going to use, for me, I mean, my next thing I'm going to do, I'll send you the PowerPoint. It's called California Differences. I got to dress it up and make it more customized for Aeroflight. I want to do that. But it's just basically everything in SoCal. So it's like fast tempo, a lot of resources, a lot of background noise, a lot of white noise.
So it's funny because I know the very first time that first time that I met you, first time we talked to you, I think you had talked about that and trying to develop that sort of scenario. I was gonna go over to Ryan. I disconnected the session. I was gonna go over to Silverado just as an area for that. And Joel, if we can kind of, if there's some things that just looking at this area, so there's some things that come up in your mind with that.
Yeah. So what would taking anything in that front, any of those, and whatever you're going to do, you're gonna slam it into as much density as you can.
I actually, hold on just a second. I'll pull up the.
It's the equivalent of walking up to 4 stacks boxes of bees nest and just kicking it.
There you go. So this one. This is from the email. The second email that I sent you guys. And the idea with this was, what does it look like when you bring every type of aircraft you can into Silverado? I mean, this is what happened, right? Everything responded.
And let me send you, I'll just send you, so it's going to be changed, but the California Difference PowerPoint I'm going to send you right now that you can look at, it's going to be changed. It's going to be a little bit customized. There are some videos in here that you might be able to do something with to mimic what you're seeing on the actual video when we go to the sim screen. Let me yeah, just know that this is going to have some.
Hey,
It's pretty close.
Go ahead.
hey Ryan, I was just gonna say I started the session if you want to join. I don't know where you're at screen wise, but
Actually, P3D on the laptop. I'm gonna reopen that. I pulled up the KMZ of Silverado entry and exit routes.
okay, that's good. So yeah, so when Joel sees on the, I don't know if you've got the YouTube screen up, but I'm showing that file right now, and this is the big Silverado. So this one, I'll probably slow it down a little bit because this one is kind of cranks a little bit. I'm gonna slow it to half speed because it'll get away from us during the conversation.
This thing's pretty big that I'm sending, so because it's got all the videos in it. But it'll take a little while to load. Five.
Push that. Need to upgrade our connection. We've got the Frontier files, which is great.
Yeah, that screen that you had, that initial screen for starting up, I can just kind of go, once I hit send you this point, maybe I can just send it in there. Well, you need to see the videos. So, it's on 361.
It'll get there.
Yeah. So real quick, while we're waiting this to load, the one of the big things with SoCal is it's stereotyped, right? There's a lot of people that just are kind of, to them it's like watching a horror movie, and there's a lot of people that don't like scary movies. But they get forced down here, and and what it comes down to is control. Like, you know, the last couple fires we just looked at, you can control the tempo, you can say no, and once you get down into you know, La La Land down here, there's a lot of things that you can't control, and so tempo is one of them. Number of resources is one of them, and then the biggest thing is the number of different agencies that are involved, where everybody has different, not that they have different rules, but they're coming from different organizations. So it makes it really, really complex. And complexity can be that. Normally complexity is assumptions, assuming people think you know something, or you think they know something. And that's normally where the complexity lies. So kind of how we talk about California differences. There's some things that new air tanker pilots have no idea. Everything from the intercom system to different frequencies that we use here. Again, getting back to the amount of resources that you have no control that are coming. And so once you get the PowerPoint, it'll make probably a little bit more sense.
Hey Trevor, I just figured out how to get the view to rotate up without resetting like it was the other day. You just can't be on the ground. If you're a foot off the ground, you can rotate the view up and have it hold.
Oh, okay.
That's handy.
Hey, are you guys still seeing the stream, or did it freeze up? I was watching on my phone while I was talking, and my phone is like frozen.
The stream is still going for us.
Okay, yeah, it must just be my phone connection is bad.
The fire on the left, so I did join them on my laptop, went away.
Reconnect to your client. See, I mean, it's still.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, since the client's not connected.
That'll do it.
It held for a very long time without any, so go figure.
Yeah, well, I put it to half speed, so it told the effects to stick around for like several minutes. So that's why.
So, do you think the location, you know, so that's the one to?
What I would like to see, if possible, is around density, like structures already being impacted.
Oh, okay.
So this is Silverado, which eventually did get there.
Yeah.
So maybe to a point where it was, I don't know what hour it finally crossed.
Well, we can always move back to that Day Creek area too, or anything along the front country there, Angeles, I guess too. So yeah, there's definitely not really any structures over here, because I think Joel, all the structures here are back in the canyons, right back to the east.
Yeah, yeah, that's that. But I mean, I'm talking about when it was blowing and going into
Yeah.
residential. Yeah, that's the town of Silverado. But
Yeah. So
we're gonna want some more density as far
okay.
as track homes go.
Yeah, because I mean, this one it does get to the 241 after a couple hours, and then it jumps over the two, and then it eventually overwhelms the computer. So by the time it gets to anywhere over here at East Irvine, yeah, it's way involved. So we can move. Ryan, I'm going to fly over back to Day Creek. I'm just going to keep the session open. I'm just going to stop this fire, and you know how to get there, so you can meet me over there.
Yeah.
It's like what we did yesterday with Lions. Would be a great anything like that where because it gets into evacuations.
Yeah, so if you look at my screen, so back to the old Day Creek area, which we've just used a lot. I don't know why we ended up picking here, but obviously there is a subdivision that bumps right up into this little nature preserve. So we can do anything over here. We can do anything. I mean, we can do anything over here.
Yeah.
You get into closer to the dam. You can do pretty much whatever you want.
Yep.
So
you put fire on the ground. Yeah.
okay.
Yep. Right in there, anywhere in there, and you have some spots, quarter-mile spots that are going between one subdivision and the other, and I don't know if you can light some of those homes on fire.
We
Show 'em
can't
right.
right now, but I think that's in the cards pretty soon.
You will see a video in the PowerPoint comment.
This is like recreating the 2003.
It is, and really, look at Paradise, look at Wolseley, look at,
Yeah.
Napa.
California is everywhere.
Yeah, it is, man. So, I'll tell you, and this right here can lend itself into, down the road, our next class, our next company, actually for an air attack force and refresher, this video right here that you're going to do this part, you're going to here, lends itself into incident within an incident very well. So you can have a multitude of things, man. You can have a dozer burn over, an engine burn over, crew burn over. You can have a
We already
rollover.
we had a TC already, as you can see.
When you have civilians that are how do you say it? When you have civilians that are impacted in negative ways, like all the way to the worst way, there you go. Yeah. Did you guys see? I'll tell you, man. You guys need to watch a documentary that was made by Ron called "Rebuilding Paradise." Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Holy cow! You guys need to watch that. I watched it on the airplane, and there's not one actor in it. Ron Howard went in with some specialists and just was able to, because he's Ron Howard, just get iPhone video, and he follows like 5 people that are all just like, one's the school superintendent, one's the high school psychologist, and a cop, the local Paradise cop, and a couple other people, the mayor. It's bizarre. The video in it and the damage that was in it, we all saw it, but we saw it from a news point of view, and the way he presented it, it's pretty freaking unreal, man. Anyways, so this could lend itself into a multitude of different scenarios for not only ground-based firefighters, aviation, especially air.
We could light fires front country all day here.
Okay, so yeah, this is kind of what you want is something impacting that first housing development, and then spotting. You see how you have that green going to the south from the first housing development to the second one. That you start getting spots in there, and then that's what it does. You know, that's how the homes become the fuel model, and you have to start doing things like anchor flanking and pinching. It basically just drives you right into direct point protection, and yeah.
Yeah, so if there's, I mean, for the California differences, if there's something you think we can, I know obviously we're not going to be able to really replicate the complexity in terms of resources and all the interagency stuff right now, but for this training, if there's everything we can throw in here,
I think between what you're doing, even if you start it with, you know, this is taking what, a couple minutes to get it to here. So maybe if you start it like at this point, or even maybe in a couple more minutes.
okay, let me do that.
Okay, to where it gets down to the power lines, and it's spotting. It's just a big, angry, you know, complex. You're not going to do anything with the tech fire, what we're going to talk about, for various reasons. The other thing this could run into, and we're talking, right? Mark's going to talk about it, is risk refusal, right? Turning it down.
I guess this isn't actually much bigger than it was. I should have started it later. Stand by. I'll start it way in. See if I can break Ryan's computer.
You feel like William Shatner, and
I do.
I tell you, both of these computers keep up very well when you're not running the VR.
Well, I'm going to put this at about 75 acres. So let's see. The last thing I need to add in there is the ability to just jump time. The one thing that's bad, so from the fire behavior perspective, Joel, on this specific fire, so not to get into too many details, but the fuel model that we're using, which is the same as what the F-bands use, pretty much all of this area, it just sees as, you know, one fuel model, and I can't remember which one it is, but it's just one of the Chaparral fuel models. So you don't get, that's part of the reason why you don't have very much variation in the perimeter shape. The other thing is the terrain, so it's relatively flat. So this isn't my favorite location for that reason. Hopefully at some point we're gonna get control of our fuel models. We can change it, but so
the only way you're going to get control of that is it's like life. You're going to have northeast wind component.
Yeah. So we can do that. But you'll notice, you know, the fire does die in the wash where it should, so it knows that it knows that those are just rocks. It does die at the burns around the water tank, so it knows the water tank is there. It knows that that is not fuel. So from the fire behavior standpoint, you know, it's certainly not perfect, but it does capture terrain, it does capture fuels. So yeah, this is starting to get, to take off. But if you look at it from a distance, you know, it looks pretty good. If you look at it from the ridge, I mean, the flames are probably a little bit exaggerated, and I can turn them down. But
not at all.
You know, if you're on the ground, I would say this one, the flame lengths are probably a little bit large, but from the aerial perspective for now, it just seemed to make sense to kind of make it a little bit more of a. But I'd really like to start to tune. I'd really like for it so that you guys can really give a good, accurate size up of the fire behavior with flame lengths, with smoke color. I mean, that's kind of what we're working towards. Um, you see the difference here with this one versus like the timber fire that we looked at, which is just lazy white smoke. So that is in there. And unfortunately, like smoke color is not really, there's not really any science behind it. It's just, faster rate of spread is typically going to be darker smoke. So we basically are just, trying to come up with logical correlations to make that happen. Which we're trying to make it look convincing for now.
Well, I'll tell you, man, even in like extreme, environmental conditions, it'll do that. You'll have like what it is, it's fire-induced fire. And so, when you start getting, 15, 20 spots out ahead of it, short range or long range, then it starts, as those spots start burning back to the main fire, it does exactly what you're kind of looking at. You get some pretty erratic, extreme fire behavior. That's what makes it so unique, is that, and it starts sheeting. You'll get these things called sheeting, where it's just like pouring water over a table. Like you just knock over a glass of water on the table, and the fire starts doing that. And there's a place in fuel models where it can only do that in light fuel models.
Yeah.
You won't see fire. I do have some videos of fire. It looks surreal. It's like watching. It doesn't look real. It looks fake.
Yeah, I got a
Looks like
couple.
lava.
I had some videos of that from the fires in Texas in 2011. You got a lot of that.
Yeah.
Just on the flat, almost basically on flat ground in the grasses. And yeah,
Huh?
it looks very fluid like.
And so, you start getting, that's what kills people, and that's what really, high resistance control features. You can't do anything with it. That right there is kind of how, believe it or not that far here, when you first before we moved to here, is where, Orange County Fire Department brought 2 guys up this last year. So
Yeah.
that's what got them. Well, I call it, I've always taught that about fighting fire in potato chips. It's light, flashy fuel, it's crunchy, and people can eat potato chips really fast versus a big sub sandwich. So people really don't die in timber. They don't die in heavy fuels. Fire can't move fast in heavy fuels. It does. I mean, it spots and it does. It crowns and everything. But if you look at any fire burnover with crews and engine companies, it's in lighter fuel. And that's the reason why. It's surprisingly fast. And, 1,200 degrees will kill you just as fast as 3,500 degrees. So I wouldn't, for what you're saying there, Trey, not discount what that fire behavior is doing in that light fuel model. I see that a lot.
Yeah, my only complaint about it is it's a little bit too uniform. So you're getting that really consistent elliptical shape, which at some point when we move away from Farsight and we just build our own fire model, or we collaborate with somebody else, we'll be able to control that a little closer. But if I move to, I was gonna, I think I have a fire that I can use over here. Yeah, so this fire now and the stream is probably a little bit behind me. But I moved to a different fire up here in the canyon, same area. When you watch this one, it definitely gets a much more realistic fire shape. So the perimeter, you start to see fingers, you start to see it running up drainages and draws. And the 2 reasons for that, the biggest reason is the terrain for Farsight. So, Farsight is using these big blocks of fuels. So when you're on flat ground, the fire behavior is kind of boring. When you get into terrain, obviously you start to see, which is realistic, you start to see the differences. But there's also varied fuels in here too, so you start to get that irregular perimeter, which is what really makes it look a lot more realistic.
So then, if you wanted to do that, park or something like La Cañada, where you could have like a lot of density above something like that, So that's what we kind of want for that California district, is to have, we want complexity saturation is what we want. And the way to do that is put a bunch of high value loss in a short period of time in that scenario or in that video.
Yeah, and we can. So if we, I'm going to. Let me leave this fire. I was gonna just fly along the.
This video.
I mean, there's plenty of there's plenty of places over here where you've got structures, you know, up on hillsides, where you could have fire below. I mean, I mean, you know more than I do, but over, you know, especially you get towards LA. I was trying to think of, you know, even any of these areas where you have the, you know, the small hillsides.
Getty.
Yeah.
405.
We should do Getty. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But even like, I guess I'm just curious, like something in here where you've got, you know, a small fire, but you've got, you know, you've got structures. So if you've got a fire, you know, one of these drainages here, I mean, it's never, you know, the potential is not super high unless it gets to the other side, but I would assume you're going to run out of time pretty quick on those houses up there.
Anything in there where you have density above it,
Okay.
and yeah.
I don't know how to, I got to figure out how to get to the Getty. We could do something there. That'd be kind of cool. That's the ultimate density, I guess.
You don't know how to get to the Getty from here?
Well, this scenery is not very good, but yeah, I'm trying to find the freeway. Let's see. What is this? This is probably the 605, huh?
Yeah, you got to keep going west.
Yeah.
I think this is the 10. This is the 10. Oh, there's downtown.
Get close.
Yeah. There you go.
Do I go? It's north. It's over here. Where is
Just
it?
past-
That's the real downtown. Keep going.
Yep, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I'm going the right way, right? Yeah.
Yeah, keep going. You follow that freeway on the left. Nope. Don't go up. Don't go up. That's the one, or that's the 5. It's either the 5 or the 101. You're heading.
And
Now
you got-
follow the spot.
Well,
on the ridge.
the problem is that you guys are behind what I'm actually doing. I'm in.
Yeah.
Where's Burbank at? Let's see. So here's Burbank right here. I'm over the top of
Oh, you're
Burbank
looking at-
now. I'm over the top of Burbank facing west.
We gotta wait for it to catch up.
Yeah, it's caught up now.
Keep going west.
That's
Yeah,
and this is, yeah, okay.
that's San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, so this
And,
is probably
yeah.
Van Nuys, right? Let's see.
Yeah, you gotta get to the 405.
Right there.
Turn left. Which airport is that?
Van Nuys.
Yeah, that's Van
Keep
Nuys.
going.
That's Van Nuys right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the 101 on the to the left of the screen, so the 405 should be coming up.
Is that it? Let's see. No, that's a creek.
He's now going into, it's behind him.
Yeah, I think
405's on the east side of Van Nuys.
That's not.
I'm in Calabasas now.
All right, right there, that is,
Oh, here it is. Here's the one. Here it is right here, right? Is this it?
Okay. That's in. So it's going to be just right. Okay.
It's
right
right.
there.
Right. There's the 405. Yep.
And
Yeah.
Getty's gonna be right below.
It's right there, right?
Yep. Yeah, just keep going down a little bit further. Down,
It's in.
keep going. down.
Isn't this complex of buildings
Oh,
right
yeah.
here?
Yep. That's it. That's it.
So
That's the blue sky scene right there, right?
yeah, so the buzzkill about, you know, when you have a high density of structures is, you know, you need to add all the 3D buildings to make it kind of realistic. So when you get low altitude, Joel, you get down to where, you know, it looks like this, where it's just, it looks kind of stupid. We can put 3D buildings, but you just get so many that it's hard to, you know, populate the entire area with 3D. This is a little too green. The USDA scenery is all brown, like fall. You know, they took it like summer or fall, so it looks better. I was trying to see what's in here. Yeah, Malibu. There you go.
So what we've been talking about, don't know if we can do it just yet, but Google, you get into Google Earth, it's actually showing in a lot of areas, it's
yeah.
showing the 3D buildings. That's the LiDAR. They've been collecting LiDAR. In fact, it's a really neat spot to look at in Silverado. The yeah. So see this line between the light and the dark in their
Yeah.
imagery? And
Uh-huh.
you get all the way down, right to right, sitting right on the line. Okay. That's not it. Be just above. And then we're going to move around.
Shadow?
You see how there's these trees they are three-dimensional. Even the motorhomes and stuff, that's Irvine Lake right there. But on the other side of this dark line,
Uh-huh.
so that's the LiDAR. That's the LiDAR data that Google has, and that's where they don't have.
So you can see the difference.
Yeah, so they've created 3D effects. So you imagine if you're doing the iced-tea kind of view, you're going to have obstructions in your view where they've got that LiDAR stuff over here, where the lower vegetation and stuff really should be obstructing your view. It's perfectly flat. So it's kind of weird. Well, what we're gonna see about is Wi-Fi, they're doing that DEM stuff we've been collecting. Gonna get me a sample of the point cloud data that they created from a little bit of that, and we're gonna see if we can get that into P3D
Hey.
to do what Google.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. It was choppy, so I thought you were done. I didn't realize you were still talking. I was just gonna say, Joel, this is Malibu, and this imagery right here, it is photo imagery, but I think the USDA stuff would be better. Somewhere like
Okay.
here is kind of good because it's, well, I don't know if it's good for your purposes, but I was just saying, you do have, we can populate, we can put buildings everywhere where there's buildings on the map, and then you've got
I
a
would
lot
think
of no
that.
structures around, but
Do you want to, I can send, I was on the Woodley, and I have, we can change California differences to some of the video to show the Woodley if you want to put fire. The only thing is, you're going to have to push it downhill. Woodley fire was a big downhill event. Well, it went uphill until it got over.
so. Yeah, all I was trying to find was just from the visual aspect is somewhere where you've got a relatively small area of buildings, so we can populate those all with buildings.
You're in the middle of the Woodley fire right there.
Okay.
And so I have video that we can play that then we can go to this, and I think that's a great. So we have actual Woodley fire with live video, and then we can go and talk about it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So I will send you all the Woodley fire video.
Okay.
And see, you're in it right now. If you go just up a little bit,
North?
or actually come back a little bit, a little side ridge, right? Just a bit. You're going to see a bunch of, that's Neil Young's house. And you're going to see the one house we tried to save was Neil Young's house, and we didn't do it.
If you do you have any maps from that fire just so I can make sure that everything matches up? I can find them. That wasn't that long ago, right?
I can. It's so recognizable. that once I send you this video, you'll match right up to it. You'll match right up to the road,
So-
the driveways, the house.
So you bring up, and I don't want to get too off track for you because I know I want to make sure we meet your objectives for for next week. But one of the longer term things, so I think that like Ryan mentioned, if we work with Wi-Fi, the ability there is you can just go in the web browser, run a fire, and we can immediately have a fire anywhere we want here versus going back and running it basically in Flame Map and then importing it in. But I think one of the neat things is like exactly what you're saying, which is we can blend video and information from an actual incident, and then actually bring the students in and actually put them, in the seat where you were, where the tankers were on that fire, to the extent possible, right? We're not gonna be able to replicate it, 100%, but we're gonna be able to get it pretty close.
I'll tell you what, man, I think we video, and they're good. The thing is, they're short, which is good. They're only my video streams are only 15, 20 seconds long.
Okay. Yeah.
I put some together and made a movie, like an iMovie with it. I'll send you the two, and it's on YouTube. It's already on YouTube. So all you have to do is take out the frickin' alternative rock music to it, and you have it.
But that becomes really neat because it's like, I don't want to say staff ride because we're not, fortunately it was not something where, somebody got hurt, but it is, you were there, what happened, you have your perspective, you're teaching, and then we can put people in interactively in real time back into that scenario is pretty awesome.
And the thing about that is, I think what's key, and down the road, it's going to be a huge benefit, is that now you can go backwards. You can go to some problematic fire that somebody had and recreate that and play it. So you can go to 1966 Loop Fire, where you lost El Cristo Hot Shots on the front country of Selmar. I think there's going to be huge, and I know we're going down a one, and I got to kind of go right now. Can you just switch to that PowerPoint that I?
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
look at it.
Let me open it up. Which one? The SoCal one?
Yeah. And again, some of the stuff's going to change a little. But there's some embedded videos in here. That's why it takes so long to open up.
Yeah, my internet is not the greatest, but it's getting there.
Okay. And I just when I talked about burning houses, which I mean, it looks hokey and you can't have blocks of homes on the fire burning. I'm just going to show you a video that I do play. I want to show you a couple things.
I mean, we can make a structure burn. I mean, that's not we can do. We haven't really thought about it yet, but we can. I can do it more or less manually to get the point across. So that's doable.
Okay.
That gets into another project Ryan and I talked about, which is getting a better wildland urban interface fuel model for the fire progression models, but it's probably more of a NIST.
Visual.
Yeah, it's probably more of a NIST project.
Yeah.
I gotta open it.
So once it does,
Try. Sorry, I just gotta open it in Google
Yeah, it's working now.
because Ryan's too cheap to buy Microsoft Office on his computer that I'm borrowing.
Excuse me? That one? That's the license of
I did get, I got a couple things on the computer coming. By the way, we're going to be gonna land in Porterville Friday. We're going to do a flyover. Yeah, you're here Friday, right? Yeah. And I'll pick up, hopefully the computer's there, but this guy will bring it out, so we'll have it. And if you got it, if there's something you got to do with it to take it before we meet in Porterville, probably just what are we going to do if we can't get it done here?
Trevor knows how to do that shit.
What am I doing?
You want?
Don't worry, Trevor. Since Ryan won't pay for some, I just bought you another.
Hey, speaking of that, I've got another one waiting at Costco just down the street now. I just got the email.
Oh, here we go. I got it. Sorry. Oh my God.
3070 mobile. Gotta get that one. checked out. Come on, open.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not being friendly to me. So it's probably because of the embedded videos that I'm trying to open on Google. So uh, it said it was too large to open. You don't happen to have it as a PDF, do you? Or I guess you wanted to watch. You wanted to show the videos. Ryan, can you Ryan, can you just stream your Discord?
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan's gonna stream it over so I can see it.
Got it. I'll eventually I think Ryan's got it anyways on or something. I mean, he's got it on his computer anyways, but we'll get all this stuff to you.
I think I might wanna.
Yeah, like, so, I mean, Joel, so I know, like, so you're super comfortable teaching. I know, like you said, you could take one video and talk for 2 hours, and so, which is good, but I just want to make sure that we have everything that you want or need, and if you only use 5% of what we have, that's fine with us. I just don't want to put you in an awkward spot where you don't have something or something's not working, so that's really just this week for Ryan and I, is just getting that stuff squared away, so we've got the baseline idea of what you want. And there'll be some loose ends, I'm sure, but we want to make sure all the major things are taken care of.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have. What happens with these things? I'm telling you, is we run out of time quickly, especially if questions start coming, and we don't want to stop that, right? We don't want to, if I don't get to something because they're asking some really cool questions. Those really cool questions are more important for and
if I start streaming on that one, it loses all. Yeah. We're getting there, man. We're getting there.
Who would have thought it'd be so hard to open a PowerPoint?
Yeah, one of these days, man, we're just gonna have head chipped right into Bluetooth. We need Bluetooth in our brain.
Seriously.
Yeah. So, Joel, I used to teach fire dynamics a lot for college stuff, and then for fire investigators. And I started like 3 years ago using for the structure fire dynamic side, using some of the fire modeling programs that we would actually use, in practice, but they had really good visualizations. And when I started using those fire models, I started to notice that the class feedback got a lot higher, and it was, I think, mostly just because it was a shiny toy. It was flexible. You could do whatever you wanted with it. People could say, "Hey, what happens if you try this?" And you could show them. For us on the forensic side, we always had to give the disclaimer of like, "Look, this is not 100% reality, but this is more or less how it works." So I'll be curious to see on the wildland side, especially with what you're teaching on the fire behavior side, which is my interest. Is do people get more engaged? Do they ask good questions? I think it'll be interesting to see what their response is and how receptive they are to it.
Yeah, then you probably had the same problem I did. Not saying that I'm smart, but the scientific side of things, whether it's fire behavior or, and whether it's fire in a box or fire on a landscape, it's pretty scientific, right? The modeling of it. And so what's cool, I think what's cool is to take things like fire line intensity, X amount of BTUs per second foot squared, and just going, hey, 20-foot, 25-foot flame lines, man. Just finding a way to use an analogy. I use the one convection.
Mm-hmm.
Convection's a big thing. Convection's a huge freaking thing. So how do you do that? Well, ask anybody if they ever preheated an oven to 500 degrees for a pizza and you accidentally open it, forgetting you preheated the oven. That's convection. And so finding ways to get somebody to understand what you're talking about. Potato chips versus sub sandwiches. I actually do a training class for air attacks. Communicate by taking them to Subway and order a freaking sandwich. Literally, it's pretty unreal. Hey, so can you see this? Because I got to go get a rapid. Can you see what we got up on the screen?
Yep, I see the big pyrocumulus.
Yes, that's a station fire. That picture is actually taking That picture is actually taken from an office building, almost in Orange County. Anyways, if you go to the next slide, I just want to kind of show you what I did, as hokey as it is. We're kind of showing, you know, La La Land, California, and then go to the next slide again, and then next slide again. Boom. So those are cool things that, you know, I did with my so-called limited tech ability. I just want to show you that. And all that stuff's coming. You can't stop it. These are just helicopters. Then the next thing I wanted to show you, that needs to be updated, probably more Blackhawks,
Huh.
more Type 1s. We got scoopers. Just giving some stats of just the basin. And then we talk about media. I'm trying to get to the video. Okay, so oh yeah, that's the first alarm vegetation fire in California. There's literally 10,000 acre fires going on in Alaska that don't even have a third of the amount of those people. So then we're showing urban interface. This is taken out by Lake Isabella.
Huh.
Next slide. Next slide is just showing how complex it can get pretty quick. That's everything that's in the air as an air attack. That's what they have going. And what does 500 people look like? This is a really choppy video. I have it, and I kind of like that it does chop because it actually slows down to show you everybody on the road. But just a 150 acre fire in Bouquet Canyon, you know, what you have there as far as terms of people. And then in these loop, I got these line clearance is huge. Obviously, this is if you could do we could do a 2 hour line clearance, especially after the fatality. There's literally, as you come up on this house, coming up, it's going to be off the nose right there.
Yep.
That guy's barbecuing, and he won't get out of the way. Like, he won't leave his house, and he's barbecuing. He's got a beer and chicken on the grill. We actually determined it was chicken on the grill. Yeah, he won't move. The one I really wanted to show you was,
Oh shit! Yeah, there you go.
and this just loops. So if you go back to that Kernville picture, that's pretty much the same. This is an area called Bodfish, California. And this is pretty much what it looks like, 120 some odd structures on fire at the same time. You're losing commercial buildings in here. You lost the station. You actually lost Convalescent Hospital. They actually had to evacuate like 20 patients. So it's just, and I have a couple different videos of this. Human factors gets into this. We had people that actually live in this town that work for Forest Service. We had 2 guys in Bolton that are actually fighting this fire and losing their house at the same time. There's a lot of weird dynamics that went on with this fire, and there's nothing we can do. The wind down there, we actually pulled a light cord out of the end of the wingtip on this.
Oh shit!
Severe turbulence. And so, yeah, I went in the shop and had to get stress tested on the jig. It's a King Air 90. Didn't bend the wing, but probably came kind of close to. And then some other videos that are in here is, you know, providing point protection. This is a really key video for, like, hey, you know, an air attack coming in, going, okay, I've been dropping retardants, see where the retardant's at. You know, trying to pinpoint. You know, a good one for this is saying, hey, we're trying to support the crew off Pine Street. Well, you know, if I'm the fire ship, I can actually find where Pine Street is. But so there's that. And then just showing utilization planes do for you. This is probably one of the best drops I've ever recorded in my life, by the way. So Dave Tuttle flies for Aeroflight. He'll be in the class for what we're doing now. And so, total structure save right there in grass.
Yeah, we should recreate that that exact shot, Ryan. That'd be cool.
That would be.
That's a familiar.
Talking about
familiar.
Yeah, talking about SoCal. Looking at, that's just commercial airliners on a normal day right there. Yeah, so some CRM with, you guys got this, but there's going to be some changes with it. And,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna work on that tonight, tomorrow, and I'll keep,
So if you want to do the Woolsey thing, because you already have those, I'll go pull the maps and kind of figure out, just make sure I'm in the right place. In terms of if we do Woolsey, like, do you want to do essentially IA, or would you want to do, I don't know, something more involved? Just in terms of what the students are seeing.
I think we embed it somewhere in California.
Hey Ryan,
And,
oh sorry, the audio went away. The audio went away, but it seems like it came back now. Hey, Joel's
let me
voice
get
cut
you
out.
all the video. Yeah, let me get you all the videos sometime today.
Okay.
There.
And I don't want to pressure you into that, but if you want that, we can make it happen, or we can do we can do something else
No,
somewhere in the.
No, I'm actually more and videotape. I can do it like, yeah, I can do it on the fly, so I don't need any prep for Woodley at all. But I do got to run. I got an
Okay.
appointment to get it quick. So
Yeah, super helpful.
I'll send you and Trevor.
Okay.
Or
Cool.
I can just get them on a stick. Would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. We can work that out. I was texting with Jessica because she's working her schedule out and everything. She said she could be up here tomorrow.
Well, just go for that presentation.
I think so, yeah.
Cool. And that's one thing that.
Yeah.
Get on board with.
We got a lot of shit to do. Yeah, I know that feeling. All right, see ya.
See you, Trevor.
Thanks, Joel. See you later.
All right.
So a couple of good things I was just gonna say. So the stream ran for 2 hours successfully. I was watching on my phone. It was working fine. The only thing I'm worried about is if people get, especially on like a tablet.
I'm gonna answer this call and.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Jessica.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I put you on speaker because Trevor and I are now.